Hey guys, let's do some more tactics. Here on Chess Tempo, doing problems again rated in the 1350 range. Alright, so the first thing that we notice about this position is the knight looks to be hanging. But if I just take the knight, he'll play rook f1 and I will drop my queen. So is there some tricky way of not having that problem? I was looking at like rook d2, but again, even against rook d2, he could still play rook f1, and that doesn't seem like it gains anything special. So what then? Okay, let's look at this again. So rook takes knight, okay, and then he would play rook f1, and if I didn't take it, so say I did something like king g2, if he played rook takes queen, I would have rook takes queen and I'm up a knight. So if I play king g2, does he have something else? It doesn't really look like it. No, I think that works. I think it works. Alright. Off with a good start. Okay. This looks like this came out of a classic bishop sacrifice. If I were a betting man, this is exactly how I would bet. Bishop f6, which is a double check. And it looks like there's a good chance I would follow up with like queen g7. My only concern is if, I mean that works out great if he goes anywhere other than h6. So we have to assume he's going to go to h6. So if I play bishop g7 anyway, then he goes to h5, and then what? I have g4 check, but then bishop takes g4. I have... Okay, wait. So h6, f6, g6, g7, h5, queen h7, then he would go to g4, and I could then play maybe f3, and then he goes to f4, and then I have queen to g8, or queen to h6, and I think that, oh, it doesn't cover this square. He would still have f5, and if I went g4 then he has e6, because my bishop would block the queen's influence. So bishop f6, h6. What about just going to h4? Queen h4 check, then he's going to go to g6, and against that I would play... What would I play against that if he goes to g6? That's not going to work. I don't know why this is so tough. So we play here. He comes here. If we come out to here, he comes to here. If we come here, he comes back to here. I can't really play g4. Or actually, if I play g4 check, if he takes with the bishop, then I have king h7, or rook 8, or queen h7, and it's mate, because the bishop's blocking the way. If he takes with the king instead, that's illegal, so that must work. Ta-da! Okay. What's going on here? Looks like we have a discovery against the queen. That looks pretty saucy. Something like knight e5, but then he can just take the queen back here. So if that doesn't work, then we'll probably play knight g5, because we're also threatening mate and the queen. So that must be right. I guess... No, that's... Why is he giving... Oh... Well, we don't want to take it, because then he can take on h4. So, there we go. Alright, so black to play and presumably try to find some sort of a mate. Seems like that we are going to start with... Yeah, we're going to start with bishop g2, because if he drops back, then we have this discovery picking up the bishop. So he's got to come forward, and then we have rook to e4 check. The pawn's got to move up, then we just grab the pawn, and that looks an awful lot like checkmate to me. So it looks like we're just going to pick up a clean bishop. Okay. I think it's just... Oh, the knight's not quite hanging. Oh, but okay, we're going to get the fork at the end. So rook takes bishop, pawn takes, rook takes, knight d7, picks up that. That should probably suffice for us. Ta-da! It's fun to win pieces. Black to move and somehow win. 4 pawns for the bishop. We might be winning anyway, even without a tactical solution. But I'm sure it's going to be better. Alright, so I think... So the rook is pinned, so I want to play rook g3 check, and if he comes to the corner, then queen h4 check seems like that might be an idea. But then, of course, he could play rook h2, but that doesn't matter, because I would have then rook to f1, and that's surely going to lead to mate soon, because you'd have to go to g2, and then we play rook f2, and then we could, at the very least, win that rook with check, so that's got to be good enough. So if we play check, he comes this way, then I have rook d, or queen d3 check, and if he tries to come to e1, then I would play rook to g1, and that would lead to a mate. So instead, he would need to play rook e2, and then what? Und dann was, as they, I think, might say in German. So we've got the rook here, the king here, and then if he puts the other rook here, what are we going to do? If we play check, he takes, we take back. That doesn't look very good. So rook check. So I wonder if there's not a simpler solution. If we just play check with the queen, if he blocks with the rook, we come here, he comes out to here, we take this, and we've won the bishop. That seems simpler. There's a mate. That's even easier. Alright. Ooh, this is... It looked like a smothered mate, like if I just play queen b8 and then knight takes and then knight check there, but he doesn't have to take with the knight. Instead, he could go for taking with the king, and I don't see anything quite so amazing there. Okay, it's just gonna be, I'm just moving the bishop out of the way so I can mate. Okay, black to move. Black to move. What are we going to do here? This seems like the most obvious move, just trying to win this. Just trying to win the knight on f4. Is there anything bad going to happen to me if I do that? I don't think so. He didn't have any checks. He played like maybe rook d8, but then I'll just take his queen, and my rook's defended, so this looks okay. Okay, the rook, or yeah, we gotta take with the rook. The queen's obviously a bad choice. White to play and mate. I think that we want to attract the king and then mate. Going first will let him come to h6, and it might have been a bit awkward to try to come up with a mate. Some sort of a pawn mate, maybe? Some sort of a pawn mate. So if we just check, and he goes back to h7, we check again, he comes back, and then we play queen g6, force him back there, and then h7. That looks an awful lot like mate to me. Check, goes here, check again. Yeah, but he could take with the queen, right? So queen takes, pawn takes, king takes. And then, is this awkward at all? I guess I can come down and get in front of it, and probably will be able to stop that. And I have enough, I have a pawn advantage over here, so I should be able to force a pass pawn. The endgame should be winning. Let's try it. Nope, not the best move. Not the best. Okay, so the only other idea I have is check. Now he comes here. But then what? I don't see a good follow-up after that. I'm blocking my own pawn, which I don't really like. What about check here? And then what? Again, he's just going to go to h8, and where's my follow-up? Oh, if he goes to h8, I take the rook. Okay, and if he goes to g8, then I play h7 check, and he forced h8, and I take the rook. So this must be right. And that's a mate. That's cleaner than my original idea. Alright, is this just checkmate with the pawn? Check, pawn takes, and that's just mate. That's easy. Okay, we have this nice little capture here. Is there any reason why I should not? Yeah, he just takes my bishop. So if I take with a bishop, is that a good idea? Oh, my queen's hanging. So I'm going to go ahead and go with not a good idea. Not a good idea is how we're going to dub that. So, oh yeah, it's even mate if he takes my queen. Let's see. If I play rook c3 check, he's got to take with the king. I can then play bishop. I'm trying to find some way of getting. Oh wait. I can just do it immediately, right? So queen check takes my bishop. It's the only move. And then what? I guess then I play. Now I play rook c3 check, and if he takes that, then I have mate on b3, right? And he has no choice but to take it. That works out nicely for us. Come on, load. There we go. Alright. I just want to sack the queen. That's really what I want to have happen here. So queen h6, king takes, rook h3 check. He's got to come back to here. Rook h7 looks an awful lot like mate. You know you've done. Oh, I didn't even look at that. I should have definitely looked at this. What to do? That's a little bit embarrassing. I guess this is just mate. Clearly you've done a lot of tactic problems when your very first thought about the position is just to sack your queen. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. This guy's pinned, which means maybe I should attack it. What's the material? We look. So we're even, all even on material. It seems like that I can just win an exchange. Maybe even a whole rook if he's not careful. That's the best I see. Let's go for it. Oh, he's just going to give me the whole rook. Should I take with the queen or the bishop? I kind of want to take with the queen to try to trade queens since I'm going to be up so much material. And the computer almost never wants to trade material. It does not understand the concept of simplifying the position. I feel like that if I play rook takes, rook h6, h8, king takes, and then I get the queen coming to f8 with check, but then he just goes to h7. And I don't see a big genius follow-up for that. So instead, we'll sack the queen and do it the other way, because the bishop is covering e7. Okay, let's a double check. I can do there, and then I can probably take his queen with check on the next move, or do I want to go here, double check, and then play rook g1 or queen g1 next? It's one of those two moves. Let's figure out which one. I suppose calculation is in order to determine that. Okay, so if I play g3 check, he goes to f1. Right? Yeah, because if he goes to h1, I'll take the queen with check, and then I can get my own queen out of the way. So he goes to f1, but then I play queen g1 check, and he then has to go to e2. I can play rook takes queen check, king takes, and then I can take the queen there, and I'm up a clean rook. That seems pretty good. Not as good apparently as the other move. So if we go here, he's again, if he goes to h2, it's just mate, which means he's got to go to g2, which allows me to play queen g1 again, but then he's going to come up to f3, and then I have rook e3 mate. So that's probably better than just winning a rook, I guess. Okay. I think we're just going to set the bishop up for a little discovered tactic. So we play bishop g1, king h1, bishop f2, king h2, queen g1 check, king h3, and then we mate on g3. Ta-da! Okay. White to play and surely not get. Okay, I think I gotta play bishop f6, and then he queens one of his pawns, and then I just play g4 mate. That looks good enough for me. Okay, we have a lot of pressure against f3. We have enough. Do we have enough? So I'm looking at playing like a knight h4 check, but if he just takes it, I don't have so much against f3. If he's defending it 3 times, I'm only attacking it 3 times, so that's not quite enough for the goods. What else do I have going on? What else is happening here? His knight is not trapped. I was looking at maybe I could try to attack the knight, but at the very least he has just dropping the knight back. I can't see that as being too awesome. I could do something like queen takes f3, rook takes, and then play here with check. He takes it, I take here, he takes, I take. That's not any good. That's borderline awful. Oh, wait! So when I play knight h4, if pawn takes, then the other knight can come to f4 and I win the queen. That looks pretty good. And if he doesn't take it, well, playing to f2 is suicide. So if we assume that he's gonna not commit suicide and instead play like king f3 or h3, I mean, I can just take that. It's only winning a pawn. That's not very much. I wonder if there's anything else in there. So knight h4. It just seems like there's no follow-up. At least not that I'm seeing. Not that I see, anyway. Because if he plays h3, and then I have like here check, but then king takes knight. King takes knight, and yeah, I don't see it, boys. I don't see it. What about similar idea? Just playing knight to here, but then pawn takes. That doesn't really seem like it's anything very special. Well, it's been 3 minutes and we haven't come up with a good idea. We're just gonna do it. Okay. I wouldn't have expected that. There must be something going on there. Let's make this the last problem, and we'll go explore this a little bit and see if we can figure out what the problem is there. Oops, sorry about that. I adjusted my screen. Let's fix that. There we go. Alright, so let's see what other options he had instead of taking it. So if he plays king g1 instead, then just rook takes. Okay. Computer line gives this. So why? Okay, so why can't he just take it? I guess because knight takes, and then I'm going to get some sort of a discovered check either way, if with the knight, and I would just go, so rook takes, knight takes, the king moves here, then either way I'm just going to, either he comes to this diagonal and allows the discovery with the queen, or he comes to this rank and has a discovery with the rook, but either way I could play knight d4 next and win his queen. So I suppose he decides just to give it up this way. Okay. So I'm interested in h3, which actually is apparently a mate in 10. So starting here. This problem is quite a bit more difficult than 1330. I think people are getting lucky like I did there, and didn't really calculate it all out and just played it. So rook takes. Knight takes. Well, again, by coming back here, I could always just play this if I had to, if I couldn't see the mate. But what happens if he comes to h4? That's illegal. So g4 looks like suicide, just with h5 looks like that's probably going to do the trick. So he has to come back and allow that. Okay, so I'm satisfied there. h1 looks like we're maybe going to have the same problems. If he takes here, this is mate. So I guess the main follow-up is to see if he doesn't take it, we're almost always going to play rook takes f3 on the next move because of all the discovered potential. Anyhow, that's a nice problem. So anyway, hope you guys had fun and solved a bunch of problems with me. We'll catch y'all later. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.